Hello, and welcome back to the Ask the Color Expert podcast. Today's special guest is actually my sister, Renee Lennox. She is changing over from a very high pressure, high stress corporate job into the holistic world. She has become a certified holistic healthcare practitioner. She is a Reiki master, and she does something really cool and awesome called emotion code and body code. And that is what I want her to talk to all of my hairdresser friends about, because trust me, we all need all of these things. So welcome, Renee. This is exciting to have you on the podcast. I'm so excited we finally got this date together.
I know. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I've been wanting to have you for a really long time because people who listen to the podcast have heard me share the things that I went through with my stomach issues. It's actually going to be a year on June 16th. So for those of you listening that are like, what are you talking about? I was flying home to see my sister and my family. I was going to a family wedding. I had a really sharp pain in my left side. Felt like I was going to vomit on the plane. There was a little bit of turbulence. Got off the plane, went to my old, stomping grounds, the old neighborhood, and went to an urgent care and was misdiagnosed as having diverticulitis. And they gave me a really strong antibiotic that I got every single side effect from. And lucky for me, or unlucky for my sister, she had gone through a very similar situation prior to it happening to me. So not only is she my big sister and able to look out for me in other ways, but because she's done all of this studying in this holistic world, she was able to help me much more than a traditional doctor was. So I wanted to bring her onto the podcast to share with all of you, because as hairdressers, we don't drink water enough. We don't eat lunch. If we do, we're standing and we're shoving food in our mouth in between clients. And as you'll hear from Renee, there's a big correlation to food and what we put into our bodies and how our body performs, and what affects our gut health. So I will turn the microphone over and stop talking and let Renee tell you the story of how she got involved in this world, from being in the corporate insurance world to now being this holistic practitioner, and this whole world that she absolutely loves and is totally meant to be doing.
Okay, my story began 10 years ago. I was going through a divorce after being married 20 years. My children were 17, 15, and 11 at the time. And at the same time as the divorce, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer and had to have his left lung removed. So I had that going on. I moved into a new house with the 3 kids, and it flooded out 3 times in a row. And it was just the perfect storm. I mean, everything was happening all at once. And which I'll be telling you later, how much emotions affect our health. Fear affects your kidneys, your bladder, your low back. I never had so much fear in my life as that time period with the divorce and my dad. And I got a horrendous UTI infection that was so bad that I wound up going to the ER. I was in so much pain. They put me on a broad spectrum antibiotic, and I hadn't been on an antibiotic in about 10 years. And I had a horrendous reaction to it. I couldn't get through the prescription, but I didn't kick the infection. So they put me on a second antibiotic, another terrible reaction, couldn't get through the prescription, put me on a third antibiotic that they give pregnant women. And I was able to get through that. But it was 3 weeks of broad spectrum antibiotics. And it killed all the bad guys, but all my good guys. My entire digestive tract was stripped, and I was never so sick in my life. My muscles ached. I had brain fog. All of a sudden I was having panic attacks, anxiety, digestive issues. I had yeast infections once a month for an entire year. I had oral thrush. I had yeast coming out of both ends of my body. Because back then, nobody told me about probiotics. My diet at the time was all carbs and sugar. and yeast multiply themselves within an hour on sugar. So they were having a field day with my diet. And I went to every GI specialist imaginable, and nobody would help me. They just kept saying, you're a stressed out woman, going through a divorce. I'm like, but this isn't normal, you know?
Right.
So I got to the point I started doing my own, ordering my own tests. I was doing stool studies and
You were a
organic.
doctor. You're a doctor of Wikipedia on Google.
Yes, I was at Google. I was going crazy on Google trying to diagnose myself because nobody was helping me. And I would take these stool studies to the GI and ask them to interpret it. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. And I was like, what? Like, that is your organ that you studied. I was so frustrated. I decided to go the holistic route, and I was just amazed at how quickly within a month I was doing different like homeopathic remedies with a woman, a holistic healer who is my mentor. And within a month, she had me feeling more human again. It was amazing. And I just learned so much that it was a 7-year journey trying to get my balance back in the gut.
Wow. Well, not to mention, you didn't even mention that you were in the throes of menopause, and that throws even more things in.
Yes, yes.
And
I was in
nobody prepares you
perimenopause.
for any of that.
Yep. And then the last missing link was how much emotions were affecting everything. And once I learned about emotion code, that really clenched it. That really healed me when I worked on the emotional part of it.
So talk about what is, because people are going to be listening, they're hairdressers, they're gonna be like, what the heck is emotion code? Like, I know what it is, and I love that you do that for me, but most people have never heard of it.
Okay. We're all made up of pure energy, and we have these 7 spinning vortexes of energy called the chakras, that most people have heard about the chakras, but they're all tied in with organs and glands. And they're like these spinning vortexes of energy. And when they're nice and balanced and aligned, everything's great. But so many things can throw them off balance. And the biggest thing is our emotions. Like hatred affects the heart, anger and resentment affect your liver. I wound up losing my gallbladder. And now I know it was from all the anger and resentment that I had in my marriage. I didn't know that back then, but that caused actual damage, and I lost my gallbladder because of that.
So do you think that you could have like, knowing what you know now, do you think if like because I know what you do and I know what my other friend that does energy work, I had a frozen shoulder and a torn rotator cuff, and I was on the book to have surgery in like 4 days, and it was at Christmas time. And all I kept reading about is how painful the surgery is and how long of a recovery. And as a hairstylist, I was going to, not be able to put my hands over my head for months. And most people listening right now are going to be like, how the heck could you ever miss that much work? Because we don't get paid when we don't do hair. So I did the work through, Colleen does something very similar to what you do as far as the emotion behind everything. And she kept saying, you're not getting the surgery. You're not getting it. You don't need it. And I'm like, Colleen, there's some things that medicine and a surgery needs to be involved. You can't woo yourself out of a frozen shoulder. And I am here to tell you, she totally healed. I mean, it's crazy to me. Like when I would walk on the beach, I wouldn't move this one side of my body. It hurt so bad. And I have hairdressers that I see on the forums talking about the same thing that I have. And I'm trying to get them to you versus getting them to the osteopathic. And they're just like, they don't want to hear. It's probably really hard for you to get through to people because you can't imagine that like a fight with your husband could shut your shoulder down for
Shut
3
your
months.
shoulder down. Right.
You know?
Right. I know. And what got me to the holistic side was desperation. I was just in so much pain and nobody could help me. And I was willing to try anything. And once you try these holistic methods, it's just unreal. But every emotion that we feel has an energetic frequency and vibration. So when you're going through this stuff, your body is actually taking on that frequency and vibration of the emotion. And if you are going through something for a period of time, it can actually get trapped in your body. And it can be anywhere from the size of a baseball to a grapefruit that gets lodged in different areas of the body. And if you don't release that, over time, your body is taking on that emotion, that the vibration of that emotion,
Reliving it, basically.
right? 24/7, monthly, yearly, decades, and eventually it leads to pain and it interrupts different organs and glands, and it can lead to more serious illnesses. So with emotion code, what I do, I work with kinesiology where I do muscle testing, and I muscle test whether or not you have trapped emotions, and then your subconscious mind actually takes me to the exact trapped emotion. Our subconscious mind processes 400 billion bits of information per second, where our conscious mind processes 2,000 bits. So your subconscious mind knows everything about you from the minute you were born. And it takes me right to the trapped emotion. And it's all based on quantum physics, and we release it right there on the spot. That's the beauty of it. It's so quick. We release it right there. And then the body code takes the emotion code a step further, where it can get to the underlying root cause of any health issue that you're going through, any emotional issue, mental, any depression, anxiety, anything that's disrupting the quality of your life, we can deal with the body code. And through the muscle testing again, it narrows it down to 6 categories. It's either an energetic reason, one of your circuit or systems are out of balance. It could be a toxin, a pathogen, a structural misalignment, like something that you need a chiropractor for, or nutrition or lifestyle. So your subconscious takes me to the exact category, and then we do further muscle testing and it goes into all kinds of subcategories. It's just amazing. And then it tells you like exactly what we need to do. We release the different energies, we reset things, and it's just amazing. I had a woman who lost her husband at a young age. He was like 40, 2 beautiful kids. For a year and a half after his death, she had a pain in her trapezius muscle. She came in, we did the Reiki, emotion code, body code, trapezius pain gone. Never had it again. And it was one visit, we nailed it. And I've had women with jaw pain gone after we do it, knee pains. I just had a woman last night, severe heel pain. We did it. I said, just walk around a little bit after we release the emotions. And she's like, oh my God, it's gone.
You're like one of those preachers that you see in movies. I'm healing you. I'm here to heal you. Put my hands on you. But it really, I mean, it's crazy. I just started doing a 12-day meditation. And you're going to laugh because I didn't even get a chance to tell you this. 6:30 every morning for 12 days. And I've not missed a single session. And it's based on the Joe Dispenza meditations. And what I love about his approach is it's not just like, close your eyes, think about the top of your head and the tip of your toes and da, da, da. He's actually bringing up the painful and the yuck and the things that the monkey mind thinks about the whole time you're trying to meditate anyway. And he's saying like, you want to see it, you want to address it during the meditation so that your thoughts can move on and change, because we're constantly trying to push it away, but we're pushing it down into our bodies. And to your point, then everything gets stuck in the body. Like I'm trying to relate everything we're talking about to hairstylists. And when you think about the actual chemicals, how many chemicals that we touch and breathe and use, all that toxicity, that's something that needs to be released that we don't release. And then I talked earlier about, we don't drink enough water, we don't eat properly, we eat late at night. A lot of hairdressers are smokers, or they have their wine after work. So it's like all of these things becomes this perfect storm in our bodies. And then put on top of that, the back room cattiness in the salon and the bitchy client and the crazy running behind schedule and standing on your feet all day. And it's like, something's got to give. And that's when
Right.
disease happens,
You
because
have all
everything
kinds
just
of
builds up.
emotions
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm sure on the run with you guys, you're grabbing things that are the inflammatory foods, you know. Wheat, dairy, and sugar are the ones that inflame the body. You want to be eating fruits, vegetables, the stuff that brings down the inflammation. I like the Mediterranean diet.
yeah, my only
I always
complaint about the diet that you have me following is the on the run part. Like, I'm
right.
leaving tomorrow morning. I'm leaving for the premiere hair show, and I'm very excited to be teaching at the show and to be back in person. But it's going to be that typical, you're at a big hotel where the food is not, there's not going to be anything gluten-free for sure at the hotel. And then on the show floor, I mean, hairstylists, there's a line at the portable bar at 10 a.m. Like, that's what happens. So
Right.
I'm not in that line, but it's really hard. Like, even I do oat milk in my coffee. So like, I'm decaf and I'm oat milk. So even just going up to a stand that I would normally just get a regular latte, most of them don't have oat milk or they don't have decaf espresso. So I'm constantly like really going out of my way. But I have to admit, I never thought that you would hear me say this for sure. I feel like a totally different person. Like, today, I forced myself to go to a different place. I walked into a place and I was like, no, none of these are good choices. And it's going to taste good and be amazing for like 5 minutes. And I'm going to be up all night and my stomach's going to blow up like a balloon and I'm going to feel like crap for 2 days. So it's like really thinking about what you put into your mouth and what it does to your body. And when you're off the sugar and the dairy and the carbs, when you eat them, I had ice cream the other night. It's, again, to that point, I went to a place that said that they had dairy free ice cream. So we got there and I'm all excited and I look in the case and there's no dairy free. And I was like, well, then I'm having regular, because I didn't come to this ice cream place to leave empty handed. And my stomach has been a mess ever since. It's been like 3 days. It's all like bloaty and gassy and gross. And I had the spider legs when I was trying to sit and watch TV that night. My legs were like twitching and I was so like hyper from the sugar. And I was like, wow, when you get away from it, like when you're in that cycle, you don't even know what life is like without it. You just can't even
Right.
imagine. But once you get
Right.
past it,
You
it's
don't
crazy.
realize how good you can feel. Just like we got you off the caffeine too. You were a
I mean,
caffeine
every shirt I
maniac.
have, every pair of pajamas, coffee, 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 like every theme of my life, all my members, when they want to surprise me, send me a Starbucks gift card. Cause like that was my life, as you know.
Yeah,
But
I am
I'm
so
happy I
proud
didn't
of
have
you
to
for
give
that.
up the ritual. Like, I do still have that hot cup of decaf and I feel social with it. Like, I still love having that. I don't know that I could ever give it up completely. But the crashing, like, anybody listening, she really got on me about the caffeine. And I was like, Renee, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't cheat on my husband. I'm a great mom. I'm really good at what I do for a living. Like, I am a really good person, but God damn it, I am not giving up my caffeine. Like, that is where I draw the line. But with what I went through with my stomach, you were like, well, I mean, you're not going to get better unless you cut that caffeine out, because that's the acidity, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. And when I tell you, I thought I had COVID. Like, I was so physically ill coming off
The
of,
withdrawal.
my God, probably 30 years of caffeine every single day, multiple times a day. I just sat on this chair in my office and I was like under a blanket, and Jeff was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know if I have the flu. Like, I wasn't even connecting it. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting the flu. And then I was like, oh crap, I am in total, complete caffeine withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
Like, I was recovering from an addictive drug. I mean, it was literally a week long. And I was cold turkey, which I probably should not have done. I
Yeah.
think you would probably recommend
I
like just
wean people
weaning.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was cold. I'm an all or nothing crazy person. So
Yeah.
I was just
But
like, okay, done.
tell me your energy isn't like
Oh
incredible
my God.
now.
I was up at 6:20. It's 6:10 p.m. right now. And I feel like my day didn't even start yet. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have that urge to crawl in for a nap. I don't have that rebound caffeine headache that I would get in the afternoon. I would get such a blinding headache in my eyeballs at like 3 o'clock. I wouldn't even have to look at the clock. I'd be like, it's 3 o'clock. And I would look over and it was 3 o'clock and I would send somebody out to get me a coffee. I'm like, I need a coffee. I'm booked until 9 o'clock. Like I can't get through the day without more caffeine. So it was that whole cycle
Yeah.
of
You
insanity
run
of
a
like,
vicious cycle.
yes.
Yeah. And it taxes your adrenal glands because the caffeine puts you into fight or flight. And then the stress that you're going through, that's putting you into fight or flight. So you're releasing all this cortisol. And then all of us that are in menopause, we don't have the estrogen that we used to have that kind of like calm down the cortisol. So your cortisol is just like, wrong. So the more you can take out the caffeine and work on your stress, and cortisol is what gives us the belly, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, I still have my cortisol belly, but I think years and years and years of abusing the adrenals, it's going to take a while for it to go down. But um, the reactiveness, like the way that I handled any situation, like in the salon, the tiniest thing would go wrong in the salon, and I would be like, "Ugh," because I was so fired up on caffeine. And now we'll be driving, and I'm usually blah, 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 talking to Jeff, and he's like, "Oh my God, somebody just get her out of this car right now." We'll be driving and I'm totally quiet. And he's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And he's like, "You're not asking me to stop at Dunkin', or because I'd be like, pull over. Oh my God, at Dunkin' Donuts, go get me." I would always have to go through the drive-through. So I don't need to do that. So we're not fighting about that. I can sleep better at night because if I did it after 4, forget it. Like I couldn't fall asleep until like 2 a.m. and then had to be up early the next day. So I can't even stop saying how many good things have happened since getting off of it. So I have you to thank for that. I have you to thank for, showing me that I could live without sugar every single day. I never thought I could do. I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh no, I can't. It's impossible." And I'm like, "Trust me, if I can do it, anyone can do
And
it."
if I can do it, I mean, I was a chocoholic. I needed it intravenously at that time of the month when I would still have my period. And I could not even imagine life without chocolate, you know. But it takes 21 days to break a habit. And once you do it and you give up the sugar and then you go back to it, you're like, oh,
Well,
you
everything
don't
tastes
even
so much
want,
sweeter now. Like if I get something
right.
that I used to love and I'm like, "Oh, like I like dark chocolate now." I used to hate dark chocolate. It tasted bitter to me. And now milk chocolate is too creamy, sugary, and milky. Like I don't love it anymore. So what I
Right.
love about what you do too is we're in such a virtual world right now that there's going to be people listening that are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, where is this girl? I need to go find her. This sounds amazing." And you're going to say, "I'm from Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania." And they're going to be like, "Well, I'm from Missouri or I'm from Indiana." So the beauty of what you and I are doing right now, being able to do this interview virtually, for people listening, they can either watch it on YouTube or they can listen in their headphones when they're on the treadmill or in the car or on their TV at home, whatever. There's all these different ways of us communicating. And I love that you're able to do the emotion code and the body code virtually. So we had
Yes.
you at a retreat recently, and we're here in Florida. You were in Pennsylvania, and the girls all absolutely loved it. They found out, all the things that were blocking them, and you gave them directives as far as like what to do moving forward. And it was amazing that it wasn't, and I've done it with you virtually and I've done it with you in person, and there really was no difference.
Right. That's what I love about it. We can just do a Zoom call and have the same exact effect.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So what would you say to someone who's listening who's like, "I cannot give up my caffeine. I cannot give up my sugar. I do not know what you're even talking about." Like, what would be like a baby step that a hairstylist could I mean, I know the obvious is drink half your body weight in water. We all know that. But the problem
Right.
with being a hairstylist is then we're in the bathroom all day peeing and not with our clients, and we run behind all day. But what's something else that could get them started down this path of feeling a lot better that they may not even have realized is an option?
Um, I guess just trying to make wiser choices. Just remember the inflammatory foods, the wheat, dairy, and sugar. There's so many good options out there now with the almond milk, I love unsweetened vanilla coconut milk. It's delicious. Just trying to do those little replacements makes such a big difference. So the wheat, dairy, and sugar, they can try to pre-plan, bring grapes in with them, oranges, like any kind of fruit that they could bring with you. You could bring that kind of stuff. Caffeine, try starting to wean off. Like if you do 3 cups a day, make one of those a decaf and do that for a week, see how you do. Then the next week, see if you can make 2 of them a decaf, and just slowly wean yourself down till you're down to decaf. So they should definitely try to back off on the caffeine. Some type of stress relief. Like I just love meditation. I think everybody needs to meditate. And there's so many good videos on YouTube. I like Nikki Sutton. There's something about her voice I love. Louise Hay has a great sleep meditation.
Do you do it every morning or every night or both?
I do both. And I have stuff that I could send people. Anybody that wants to email me at renee@holisticgroove.com, I can send you Suzanne Giesman's Bless Me method. It's a really good meditation method that they can try. And you can also go on YouTube when you're just getting started out. It's called Sip of the Divine, SIP, Sip of the Divine by Suzanne Giesman. And that's like short, and it'll help you like ease in to meditation.
Yeah, it's funny. The one that I'm doing in the mornings right now, it's like she keeps reiterating that you cannot do it wrong, because when you first start
Right.
doing it, you're like, this can't be what you're supposed to do. Like I remember doing Deepak Chopra's, and I find his voice really tough to listen to. Like I know he's the guru, but I don't relax well with his voice. He was doing a collaboration with Oprah, and I remember laying on my living room floor and trying to do his meditation, and I was just like, this can't be right, because my laundry list of to-dos is rolling
Right.
around in my head, where now I think it's when you connect to a certain person's voice or their methodology. Like I really like these, and I literally, when my alarm goes off at 6:20, like normally I'd be like, one eye willy, like hitting the snooze 85 times at that time. I throw the covers off, jump right up, brush my teeth. I get my little spot. I think it's like you're saying about packing lunch and being prepared, having the spot. I have like an eye mask there. I have my earbuds there. I have everything ready where I literally just slip in the chair, put the earbud in, turn it on, and I'm just in it. And then when it's over, I'm almost like, can we have another half hour of that? Like that was so good.
Right. And if anybody, I have a lot of my clients doing the 21-day angel experiment by Corinne Garillo. That's a really fun thing to get you into meditation. They're very short. It's like 10 or 15 minutes. You can pick to do it in the morning or at night. And you learn about all the different angels and which ones you can go to for different things. And it's just a fun thing to get you just to start getting into the habit of a routine. It's 21 days that you can treat yourself to. And my clients they love that.
Yeah, I think it's when people first hear about angels or divine this and manifestation that, like when they hear about the woo, it's almost like, oh God, here we go. That's the eye roll and all of that. But it's not about religion or anything like that. It's taking deeper, like we never really breathe. I mean, you hear how fast I talk, so I don't really breathe properly all day long. So to take that time and take that really big in breath, hold it for a couple seconds, breathe out, just to do that between clients, even if it's not a like seated, om meditation where you're in a shamanic place. Like it doesn't have to be crystals and feathers and all the things. It's just taking, even if it's 5 minutes in between clients, like walk outside, close your eyes, pop on one of those things and just get recentered. Because once, it's like the domino effect. Once one client irritates you, you're going to be a bitch to the rest of the people all day long. And then your energy is affecting them. And then everybody's miserable by the end of the day. I've watched it happen so many times in the salon. And I wish that I had these tools then when I was in the salon every day. I think I would have been a better leader. I think the atmosphere would have been a lot more calm and peaceful, because any mood that I was in just spread through the whole salon within the first half hour that I was there. You can't help
Well, it sounds like a good thing I can teach your tribe is the triple warmer smoothie. Do you want me to do that for them?
Yeah, well, a lot of them are just listening, so it's going to be hard. I mean, you can describe it really well because
They
it's a
can go
podcast.
on my Instagram and it's on there. It's the triple warmer smoothie. It's something that after a client that really shakes them up, they could go down to the break room and do a quick triple warmer smoothie, and that'll get them right out of fight or flight.
Awesome. So where do they find your triple warmer smoothie? Where's your Instagram? How can they get in touch with you if they want to learn more about this amazing stuff?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram at Holistic Groove and just DM me if they have any questions or if they want to do a session, we'll set something up. And my website's www.holisticgroove.com.
So it's HOLISTIC, holistic. Holistic Groove. Awesome.
.com.
Well, thank you for sharing with the hairdressing community. I hope that what you do becomes more, mainstream and more available to more people. Because I know what it did for you. I know what you've done for me. I know what you've done. Renee has been seeing, I put a post on Facebook of my before and after, how much better I feel. And I lost weight and all the things. And all my high school friends are now calling Renee saying, what did you do to your sister to do that to me?
Like
so
what Elaine has, that's me.
That's what I want. Yeah. And I'm like, I have to be the fat girl and shame myself on the before and after, the really terrible fat ass picture that I had to share. But I'm happy to share it because, you tried for years to get me to listen to all that. I was just like, leave me alone. I am perfectly happy in my little fat body. Stop trying to fix me and all of the things. And you take it so personally, but at the end of the day, we all want to feel better. We all want to sleep better. We all want to be better. So it's the easiest thing I've ever done and stuck to for the longest amount of time, because it's just real normal food. Like I'm not eating out of an astronaut container with dehydrated food. I'm not drinking a shake or taking pills. Like that's the first thing everyone asks me, Renee, when I posted that. They're like, what does she have you on? What kind of pill do I need? I'm like, it's not a pill. You're going to have to do the work. It's not a pill,
Right.
But it's sustainable, because it's real food the way God meant for us to eat. He didn't mean for us to eat out of, convenience store packages.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing, to try to get away from the processed stuff, because all the chemicals that are in that. And the biggest thing that you should really look out for is high fructose corn syrup.
It's in everything. When you start looking for
my
that, you have to
God.
clean out your whole kitchen.
Right. All the center aisles of the supermarket is high fructose corn syrup. You have to shop in the perimeters, but our bodies don't know what to do with that. So it stores it as fat. So when you buy
one more thing, I hate to take you off into a tangent, but I'm so glad you brought that up, because the famous thing for, I don't want to say hairstylist, but probably hairstylist, is diet soda, Splenda, Sweet and Low, stevia, all those sugar people are like, oh, I'm on a diet I'm using. And I try to explain to them that our body doesn't know what to do with that. And yeah, there's no calories, but the body's like storing it somewhere because it doesn't know what the heck it is.
what to do with it. Yeah. Yeah. What I always say with the diet Coke drinkers, what are the first 3 letters of that? You want to stay away from that.
Oh, wow. I was just like, wait, what is she talking about? And I'm like, that was another addiction. That was a beauty school addiction. That was the running joke. Anyone that wanted to be my friend brought me a big gulp, one of those giant, I think it's like 32 ounce over ice Diet Cokes. And that sustained me through the whole entire day. And I was always sipping on that and really not eating. And that became such a habit. And then I would have such headaches and not make the connection that it was all the artificial sweeteners in the diet soda. So I haven't touched a diet soda in probably 15 years. And I don't miss
Right.
it at all.
Yeah. I mean, our poor livers, there's over 10,000 man-made chemicals today that our bodies have to process all this stuff, all the preservatives, stuff in the air. And, our livers are working overtime every day. So try to clean out your homes too with your cleaning products. Sometimes you're exposed more in your house than you are outside to things you don't realize. And there's so many good natural products. Like white vinegar is a miracle worker. You can clean so many things with white vinegar that will get things out way better than all the stuff that's totally chemicals,
I know you had said the candles are really bad. A lot of people that are into all those smelly, I'm not a big fan because I don't like the smell, but
Yeah,
I know that's not good.
they said it's worse than like 20 years of smoking,
Wow.
what it does to the lungs. So you have to, like, if you want scents, try to go with essential
Essential
oils
oils.
because
Yeah.
that's good for the body. You don't want these chemical things.
Right. Pumpkin spice candle out the door.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share all of this with our listeners, and make sure you reach out to Renee at Holistic Groove, either on Instagram or her website, and schedule a consultation. You don't even have to schedule an actual service, just schedule time to talk to her about all of these things, and just try to do just one thing differently tomorrow than you did today, and just be a better version of you than you were yesterday. So thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, Renee.
Okay. Thanks for having me.